And I don't believe that I was created to have to live with migraines. I believe that they can go away because migraines suck, and I literally cannot live my life taking care of my baby and future babies living with migraines. Like, I refuse. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Vlogmas. I'm feeling pretty accomplished already today. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've uploaded the Vlogmas video for today. I've filmed, taped, and turned in an audition. I did all that before 9 a.m. That is not the usual for me. Okay, it's 9:15 now. Sage is actually just now waking up. I can start to hear some binkies dropping and a little, yeah, did you just hear it? A little noise coming from her room. But I was thinking, for today's video, why don't we go through my health protocol that I've been implementing since, I don't know, the last month or so now. Had a little episode happen on Halloween. That day was just kind of a little portion of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I get migraines and they're awful. I've had them for a very long time. So what I'm implementing is to help make those things go away. Okay, she's crying. I need to go get her. But that's what we're gonna chat about today. Hang tight. I gotta go get my baby. Hi, good morning, my love. Good morning, my baby. Did you sleep good? Look at you. Did you sleep good? Did you? Oh, baby. Hair out of your eyes, huh? You giving that to Mom? Thank you. Drop it. There you go. Say bye-bye. Say hello. Good morning. Say good morning. Oh, num-nums? Okay. Can you put it together? Sage is sleeping. I got my celery juice, so let's chat. A lot of you have asked about my protocol since the whole fiasco that happened on Halloween. If you're new to what's going on, I'll summarize for you. I remember the day because it was Halloween, so end of October. I was just feeling really off for like probably a week or so, and was just, I don't even know how to explain it. You know, when you just feel sick in a certain way, it's hard to articulate how you're actually feeling so someone else can understand what you're going through. But essentially, I was feeling super weak and depleted. I was so tired, just not myself, just standing sometimes. I just had to like take a minute and just try to breathe and be like, wow, why can't I stand? Like, why does my body hurt in this way? It was weird. I'm not someone that goes to the doctor with every symptom. I don't like going to the doctor. The only doctors I like going to are my functional medicine doctors and that kind of stuff. I need to say a few disclaimers. Everything I'm about to say is my opinion. It's just my perspective on things. This is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I'm sharing my experience, and the whole protocol is just something that I'm doing. I'm not suggesting that you do it and all those things. Okay, let's move on. In my opinion, if I were to go to urgent care or the ER, and there's always a time, there's always a place for those things, but I felt like they were gonna be like, oh, we don't know, or here's an antibiotic, have a good day. And typically someone might call their primary doctor first, but I do not have a primary doctor, and that's on me. There's a few different doctors I've been to here that are naturopaths or specialize in Eastern medicine and herbs and that kind of thing, and I absolutely love them. They've helped me so much. Okay, moving on to Halloween and what happened. So I'm sitting there FaceTiming my mom, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. And not like respiratory kind of thing, but just overall like, whoa, I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like, I feel like my blood pressure is really low or something like that, like I was gonna pass out. She's like, you need to call Clark or call somebody, or something needs to happen right now. So she hung up the phone. I think she called Clark. I don't really know. And I was on my iPad FaceTiming her. So I stood up to go to the bedroom to grab my phone, and Sage was sitting in the high chair. She had just finished up her food. I remember that being in my mind very specifically, because on my way back out to the kitchen, I like collapsed and I felt like I was passing out. You know the feeling when you pass out, like if you give blood and afterwards you're like, woo, I hope you don't, but maybe you know the feeling of when you're about to pass out. And it's not fun. So I was getting that feeling. It's just like this wave that comes over you and like blackness kind of starts to happen. And I kind of fell to the floor and was like, oh my God, I can't breathe and I can't see. I'm literally passing out. And then I didn't pass out, but I was kind of just laying there. Long story short, called Clark, almost called 911 until I kind of got with it and was like, okay, I think I'm okay. If he comes home, I'll be okay. We hopped in the car and we're like, okay, let's go to urgent care. And I was kind of starting to be like, I'm okay. I just still feel that kind of depleted feeling again. I think I'm okay. I just don't know what's going on. We take Sage to a pediatrician that is like functional medicine, integrative medicine, and we love them. And we love the care that we get for her over there. And it's not just pediatrics, they take adults as well. So we called them and we were like, is there any way we can, you know, get me in as a new patient because I don't have a primary doctor? Is there any way we can get in for a sick visit like right now? They were able to get me in. So we hopped in the car, went there, and I was just feeling a little bit better at that point, but just that depleted feeling again, but not passing out. We were there several hours and I ended up getting blood work done, and they also gave me an IV of fluids and of like a ton of vitamins, and afterward I felt so much better. And they did test my urine and they're like, you are chronically dehydrated, like you are so dehydrated, so that's probably why you're feeling a lot of this right now. And I'm like, I drink water, what is going on? We all had COVID in September, which was the month before this whole scenario, and the doctor was telling me, she's like, most likely this is the lingering effects of that, and your body's just still kind of responding to it and trying to heal and whatnot, which makes a ton of sense. But while I was there, I was like, okay, I definitely want to get blood work done, because there they do like the whole panel of like everything, not just kind of typical stuff you see at a traditional doctor, I guess. They get more to the root cause and what's actually going on instead of surface level stuff. I was telling her, I'm like, well, listen, I suffer with migraines and I have since I was 14 years old, and it's something I've been trying to get rid of. It's debilitating. I get about 2 to 4 a month. On a bad month, a couple a week, and I know something's off in my body. I want to fix it. I know that it's hormones based off of other blood work I've taken and other doctors that I've been to. I know headaches and migraines can be extremely complex. There's so many different things they could stem from, but for me, I knew based off of blood work that mine were related to my hormones. And now I've had a baby and all that, so I'm like, I know I'm jacked up. Like, just let's do the whole panel and let's see what's going on. So then cut to November, it was the week of Thanksgiving. Got the results in, I had my follow-up appointment. So I went there and this is what they told me. I'll try to summarize it, but essentially there's a few main things on my blood work that showed up. A lot of things were actually really great and looked really, really good, but there are these few things like, okay, I already knew about one of these things. The first one that I know about is my cholesterol is extremely, extremely low, and it's my HDL, so it's the good cholesterol. That's really, really low for me. The other ones were okay. I know a lot of people will be like, okay, you don't eat animal products, so eat some eggs and call it a day and raise your cholesterol. I know that there's other solutions, and this was one of the things I was talking to her about. She's like, no, that's not the answer. I had a different doctor tell me to do that, but this doctor was like, no, there's definitely other things that we can do. Another thing was I had really low DHEA sulfate, so you can look that up if you actually care about that, but basically it's hormone related as well. And then the other thing where my numbers were off were the sex binding hormone, and she was saying based off of the number it's showing that my liver is not detoxing properly. So it's kind of those 3 things overall. Everything else was pretty good. My iron was in the good range, but it was kind of at the lower end. So she's like, let's bump that up a little bit. Same thing with my vitamin D. My vitamin D was in, you know, a healthy range, but she's like, let's bump it up just a little bit just for overall, you know, feeling better. After we went over all the blood work and talked for a very long time, we had such a great conversation. She knew how much I like loved learning about this stuff, and just me telling her like, you know, how I live my lifestyle, we just were like, we were vibing. Same thing with my thyroid levels. They were in the okay range, but it was at the lower end. She said that was directly related to the other things that were flagged, because those are all hormone related. So I was like, okay, what's your answer? What are we gonna do here to get these numbers up? She said, first of all, I think that these numbers are directly related to your migraines based off of what she's seen in the past and people's blood work who have migraines. If we can get these numbers higher, I think you have a very good chance of getting rid of your migraines, along with the other herbs and supplements that I'll tell you about that whole protocol too. So I was so relieved to hear that, because I'm like, okay, does this mean I have some kind of answer? I have some kind of answer. So I'm like, okay, tell me what to do. So she told me, based off of all the things, she was like, it looks to me like your body does not have enough healthy fat whatsoever. I'm like, really? Okay. And she never said to eat eggs. She never said to eat animal products. She's like, you can do this by upping your fats. And I'm not someone that's afraid of fat. I don't avoid it. I don't have a bad relationship with it, you know? I'm like, I didn't intentionally do that. I guess I just am not getting enough. I didn't know that. So she's like, have 2 big scoops of nut butter a day along with 1 avocado a day. Let's do that for 3 months. Test your blood and let's just see what happens, and we'll see how many migraines you have and that kind of thing. That was 3 weeks ago at this point, almost 4 weeks ago. So far, I have not had a migraine. Knock on wood. It could happen tomorrow, but 3 weeks without one has been really great because I've been doing those healthy fats, plus the herbs and supplements that we can talk about now. A couple other things that she told me to do was niacin, getting in some B3. Apparently that helps headaches and migraines. She also told me to do 2 Brazil nuts a day. The selenium in that is really good for you and also helps with the thyroid health. She also told me to do some glutathione and then do 5,000 IUs of vitamin D a day, and then also some magnesium, which helps with like anxiety and also helps with feeling rested and getting good sleep and that kind of stuff. Those are the things that she suggested first, and then I kind of told her about the protocol that I've kind of been doing based off of medical medium. I don't know if you guys have heard about Anthony William. It's so interesting to me. It can be a little taboo, but there are so many testimonies of people that have done his protocols and way of eating and that kind of stuff and have seen amazing results. I haven't read all his books. I haven't gone too deep. I kind of follow it on not just a surface level. It's a little bit deeper than that, but it makes sense to me. It clicks. It's a lot of it is how I eat and live my life anyway, so it's not like a huge plunge for me. I'm just trying to get more consistent with some of the protocols. So he has a lot of different books, but there is a broken down protocol for headaches and migraines. It's really, really, really interesting. So if you suffer from them, I would suggest it. Do your own research, see how you feel about it. So that's why I have the array of supplements and herbs that I do every single day that you guys probably saw yesterday in my morning routine video. But I read the whole thing out to the doctor and told her about what I'm doing and is this safe, is this okay for breastfeeding and all that kind of stuff. I would always check with your own doctor, do your own stuff. Okay, this is the book, Supplements and Herbs for Headaches and Migraines. And again, I went through this entire list with my doctor and we kind of talked about which ones were safe or not safe for breastfeeding. And a lot of them it's hard because there's not enough research to know whether it's okay or not okay. So there's some we just kind of avoid. So I'm just gonna list you the ones that I am doing from here. Fresh celery juice is the first thing. So I work up to about 32 ounces. Sometimes it's 16, sometimes it's less, depending on what I have in the refrigerator. And then celery force, which is a capsule, ashwagandha, which with breastfeeding, my doctor told me I could have a little bit. Definitely don't overdo it, but I actually haven't done it because I'm like, I'd rather just not. I'll wait till I'm not breastfeeding. I don't want to mess up supply and anything, so I'm avoiding that personally. I do barley grass juice powder, cat's claw. That's a weird one with breastfeeding and pregnancy, I believe. I only do like a couple drops of it a day instead of the full dropper. Curcumin, is that how you say it? Lemon balm, lysine, magnesium nettle leaf, spirulina, turmeric, which is in the curcumin capsules that I have, vitamin B12, vitamin C, wild blueberries or wild blueberry juice or wild blueberry powder. There's a few others on here like ashwagandha, golden seal, oregano oil, feverfew. Those are the things that I haven't done in this because it's just, again, one of those weird things with breastfeeding. It's like, I don't know if you should do it or not do it. So I've just chosen to just kind of avoid those for now, but I've been doing all the other stuff. So my doctor was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. So that's what I'm doing. That is the full-on protocol. All of that along with a healthy plant-based lifestyle. On the panel, we did do an allergy test that showed, I don't know, maybe 60 different foods. 30, 60, I don't know. She said every single one was 0 and nothing was triggered at all, which I was surprised about gluten, but she was like, with all this, I was going to tell you to avoid dairy and gluten completely. She's like, you already do that, so just keep living your life. I'm excited to see this whole protocol and how it works for me. And the last 3 weeks, I've been okay. Even if something happens tomorrow, I went 3 full weeks feeling really good and without a migraine. I know that was long-winded, but that was honestly just kind of the summary of it. It's weird because I want to be careful with what I say, but I also want to be a voice and put information out there that maybe someone can grab and start taking an herb or supplement that makes them freaking feel better, that no one else had told them before. Because migraines suck and I literally cannot live my life taking care of my baby and future babies living with migraines. Like I refuse to live that life. So I'm determined to get to the bottom of it, to get to the root of what's going on. I'll do whatever it takes within my lifestyle to make changes to allow my body to heal and go back to the way that I believe it was meant to be. And I don't believe that I was created to have to live with migraines. I believe that they can go away. We just gotta figure it out. I did forget to say too that I've done 0 caffeine. So that's another thing that I've gone back and forth with. In life, I absolutely love and adore coffee. So I get it. So the people are like, I could never give it up. I'm that person and I gave it up. So I challenge you. During pregnancy, I did like a half calf once a day, maybe not even once a day, but that was kind of like my go-to. And then I would start implementing some decaf coffees and stuff like that because I knew I didn't want to have a lot of caffeine being pregnant. And then I had Sage and started breastfeeding and really didn't want to have it in my system. And I knew that my adrenals were absolutely taxed from giving birth. I really wanted my body to heal and my adrenals to like have a freaking break. So I cut it out again. And then the only time I would have caffeine was when I would get a migraine, because usually that's the only thing, if I would drink it early enough, would knock out the migraine. If it was past a certain point, caffeine like did not do anything. And anything over the counter never worked for a migraine for me. I tried it all. Excedrin migraine, extra strength, Advil, ibuprofen, all the things never worked for me. And then when I got into a more holistic lifestyle, I stopped taking medicine anyway. So those are the only times that I would have caffeine. And then this whole scenario happened and I'm like, I'm completely cutting it out 100% and just kind of let my body reset without depending on it at all. Whew. So anyway, that's that. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted about how it's working for me. Not only if you have migraines, but just other things in general that you're just like, oh, I know something's off, or I'm just interested to know if something's off and I don't really know and I'm just used to living this way or feeling this way, or maybe you don't even have symptoms to something yet, but it exists in your body. I would really highly encourage you to find a practitioner that you align with, that you trust, and maybe does a mix of Eastern and Western medicine. If there's something you want to learn about your body, I highly recommend getting some blood work done and just looking at your results and just kind of going from there to give you answers. I feel like so many of us just live our lives and have no idea of what's actually going on in our bodies, you know? I didn't really mean for this whole video to be a sit-down chat talking about this, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop here because I know I chatted for quite some time. So that's gonna be the video for today. I hope it was interesting, and I'm just curious if you guys have any similar experiences. I really want this platform and other channels and social media and things to be a space where we can talk about this kind of stuff and we can chat more like holistic things and just about our bodies and, I don't know, start the conversation. And I think there are so many sick people out in this world, and I just feel really passionate about talking about this kind of stuff. We live in a world where we have to be so filtered and careful with what we say. So I have that in mind, but also don't want to not talk about this stuff and how the stuff that God has given us on this earth is used to treat us and heal us. Of course, there's a place for other kinds of interventions and stuff, but I think that this should be the go-to first, at least, you know? So anyway, that's how I feel about that. I'm curious, just out of people who have watched this, who gets headaches and migraines. And I know there's so many people that do, so I'm just curious to kind of see how many of you guys do and how long you've been suffering with it, and maybe stuff you've done for it that's worked, maybe not worked. Yeah, let's chat about it. Okay guys, I'll see you tomorrow in the next Vlogmas video. Okay, bye.